Good evening and welcome to Duck TV News. I'm Lauren Apara.
And I'm Savannah Sear. Here are tonight's stories. After years without rideshare programs, Uber and Lyft could be coming back to Eugene. Jenna King has more on the story.
Tired of waiting for the EMX, walking home in the rain, spending countless amounts of money on taxis? Well, those days might be over. Eugene City Council is doing everything in its power to bring ride-sharing services back to Eugene.
Rideshare programs have not been available in Eugene for almost 3 years, due to the city's regulations. The regulations have made it difficult for programs like Uber and Lyft to operate. President and CEO of the Eugene Area Chamber of Commerce, Brittany Quick Warner, expresses her opinion on why she believes Uber and Lyft would prosper in Eugene.
I think Eugene is ready because we have, we're a college town, the university. I know there's a lot of students who would rather use ride-sharing services than either own their own vehicle or use their vehicle to get around all the time.
Ride-sharing programs would affect students in a positive way. A University of Oregon student explains why she would like to see Uber and Lyft back in Eugene.
Uber's really efficient with the app, and college students going to parties and wanting to get back home, and taxis aren't always the most efficient way to get around. So.
Quick Warner is a big advocate for wanting students' voices to be heard. She explains the importance of citizens getting involved with their city officials.
It's always good for citizens to weigh in if they care about something, right? I think that that's just good civic practice for all of us to get in the habit of. If there's something you care about and you want to see something done, educate yourself, understand the issue, but then write your city councilors, write your county commissioners, write your state legislators.
This is Jenna King reporting for Duck TV News.
The Chamber of Commerce will meet on Monday to finalize the decision on whether or not to bring rideshare programs back to Eugene.
This spring, you'll be able to rent a bike through a local company, Social Bicycles. The company will be placing 300 bikes in 35 stations around the University of Oregon, downtown Eugene, and the Whitaker neighborhoods. Riders can rent a bike from one station and return it to whatever station they want, whenever they want. Stations will be open 24/7 and anyone can get a membership through the ATM-like kiosks that will be placed throughout Eugene. And you can find them and rent bikes using your smartphones. Bikes are $2.50 every half hour used.
A Portland woman won the New York City Marathon last week. Oregon native Shailene Flanagan became the first American woman to win the race since 1977. Flanagan crossed the finish line in 2 hours, 26 minutes, and 53 seconds, beating Mary Kitiani of Kenya by 1 minute and 1 second. Flanagan is undecided whether or not she will compete in the Boston Marathon this year. And now we toss it to Carly and Joshua to get you caught up on fall sports.
Hello, and welcome to this week's episode of Duck TV Sports. I'm Carly Gauthier.
And I'm Joshua Berry. It might have been a football-less weekend here in Eugene, but there was still plenty of sports to go around.
Tonight, our lead story is on an investigation off the court. According to a recent article published in Sports Illustrated, the University of Oregon did not follow its own policy when handling a student misconduct violation with former men's basketball power forward, Cavell Bigby Williams. Earlier this month, Senator Ron Wyden demanded that the University of Oregon President Michael Schill answer a list of questions regarding the sexual assault allegations against Bigby Williams. The alleged sexual assault happened at Northern Wyoming Community College, where Bigby Williams was a student athlete. Freelance reporter and UO student Kenny Jacoby began his investigation in June following a background check on the Oregon transfer. The results were vague, but Jacoby kept digging.
After the first report published in June, there were more questions to be asked, and I didn't think anybody else was going to be asking them, so I needed to be the one to do that.
Jacoby then questioned President Schill about his knowledge of the investigation. Schill responded, quote, "I can't comment on an individual student. What if I was asked by another reporter about you being obnoxious? Would you want me to tell them that?" End quote. Even after its publication in Sports Illustrated, Jacoby knew the story needed more traction.
It really needed somebody to kind of kick the UO into action, and hopefully some positive change will come out of it.
Yesterday, President Schill defended the university's actions in a letter to Senator Wyden. He wrote, quote, "We did not open a conduct investigation because the alleged survivor was clear and consistent in her request that no action be taken," end quote.
Oregon women's basketball is moving on to the next round of the WNIT with a win over Drake University on Sunday, 110-77. The Ducks dominated from three-point range, shooting 16 of 29 on the night. Oregon sophomore guard Sabrina Ionescu had a triple-double with a career-high 29 points and 10 rebounds. The Ducks are on the road for the next round to take on Texas A&M this Thursday at 7.
Last weekend, the Oregon men and women cross-country teams both received invitations to the NCAA Championships meet in Louisville, Kentucky on November 18th. At the West Regional meet last Saturday, the women's team earned a third-place finish and will head to the NCAA Championships for the 10th straight year, while the men's team finished in fourth place to secure their sixth straight NCAA Championship appearance. The women look to defend last season's NCAA title after placing in the top 3 in all 4 meets so far.
Oregon volleyball looks to get back to their winning ways this weekend as they take on Washington State this Friday at Matthew Knight Arena. The last time these teams met, the Cougars put up a good fight, but lost to the Ducks 3-2. This past weekend, Oregon went 500 against the Arizona schools, sweeping ASU in straight sets, but losing to Arizona 3-2. In that game, the Ducks blew a 2-0 lead for the loss.
National Signing Day was last Wednesday, and Oregon basketball, volleyball, and acro and tumbling landed some serious recruits. For basketball, the Ducks locked in 2 nationally ranked forwards, Miles Norris and Lewis King. Norris is the number 3 ranked power forward of the 2018 class to come out of the West region. By adding both players to the roster, Oregon now has the 4th best recruiting class in the Pac-12 and is ranked number 24 overall. Oregon volleyball added Kylie Robinson to its roster along with 4 other recruits. Robinson is the highest ranked recruit Oregon volleyball has ever seen, signed at number 8 on the senior aces list, 2 ahead of Ronica Stone. Acro and tumbling also picked up 5 new Ducks for the 2018-2019 class. A part of the class is Alyssa Hugh from Barkham, Ontario. Hugh is the first international recruit an Oregon acro and tumbling has ever seen.
Next, we have a story about Oregon junior cheerleader Sarah Dubois. Emma Childs reports.
Sarah Dubois has been dancing almost all of her life. Since she was 6, she lived the fairy tale life of a dancer, and she seemed destined to become a college cheerleader.
It was so exciting. I mean, I didn't have any idea. I mean, I kind of just tried out being like, I hope that I make it, but I don't think I will.
But Dubois did make the Oregon cheer team, first as a dancer and then as a member of the stunt team. She's been a staple on the sidelines for the past 3 years at the University of Oregon. Dubois' passion is bringing joy and happiness to all Oregon fans with her radiant smile. But despite always having a smile on her face, her fairy tale dream turned into a nightmare.
Right above my collarbone, I had this big, essentially it was a mass. And both my sisters are nurses, and so I told them about it. And eventually, one of my sisters got on me, and she was like, you need to go in, and I finally did.
The doctors ran tests and diagnosed her in July 2017 with Hodgkin's lymphoma, the nodular sclerosis.
I mean, it was devastating. I think, my initial reaction, though, was, I just want to go back to school. I mean, I had planned on taking summer classes. I start cheer in the summer.
In the following weeks, Sarah underwent 2 surgeries, 4 treatments of chemo, and 10 consecutive sessions of radiation. There were times when she couldn't shower by herself. Her jaw hurt so much that she couldn't sip on water, and her hair began to fall out after she ended her last round of chemo. But throughout the entire ordeal, she always knew that her cheer family would be there for her.
It's just the fact that, no matter what, I'm gonna have to go through it. I don't have a choice, and so, it just keeps me positive just knowing that. And I have a great support system. I wouldn't be as positive without them, so.
She says what got her through it was years of intensive cheer training.
It's so hard. It's interval training, and you just have to push through no matter what. And I think even just that has helped me so much. You just have to push through. I mean, there's no other option.
Dubois knows cheer is one of many reasons she keeps smiling. Her teammates offered her endless support through her treatment and helped her find joy and happiness in her fight. Just a few weeks ago, on November 3rd, Dubois completed her final round of radiation. Dubois will be getting checks for the next few years, but she's looking forward now to bringing joy to all Oregon fans again.
I feel like for the whole summer I felt kind of trapped, and you're just constantly in it and constantly, having treatments and having to report back to the doctor's office, and to feel like I was finally done was just like a really relieving feeling.
Emma Childs, Duck TV Sports.
Thanks, Emma. Dubois hopes to return to the team next year. All of us here at Duck TV Sports are cheering her on.
Well, looks like that's a wrap for this week's episode of Duck TV Sports.
Make sure to follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Duck TV Sports, and like us on Facebook for the latest things Oregon athletics.
Back to Lorna at the news desk.
Thanks, guys. A statue was unveiled in honor of women veterans. The statue was revealed last Friday before Veterans Day at the Veterans Memorial Plaza in Willamette Lane Park. According to Kevin Borgart, a board member of the Veterans Legacy Project, the purpose of the statue is to acknowledge the service of women veterans.
Well, I'm here today because just to provide a little bit more community support to female veterans. I just don't think they're getting enough acknowledgement.
The event included speakers who highlighted the importance of providing support to women who served in the military, as well as the choir and the veterans from the community. Despite the rain, many people came out to show their support and to watch the unveiling of the statue.
University of Oregon student Royce Markley is giving a voice to kids placed in the foster care system. Reporter Elle Myers has the story.
Markley launched Foster Fight in 2014 after being chosen for the Foster Club All-Star internship, in which he spent the summer all over the U.S. advocating for kids in the foster care system. On his blog, Markley details his experience in foster care through article posts and photos. Through his work, other kids in the foster care system are able to follow his success. They can even reach out to him personally through his website.
So I just want to give back to the next generation and try to offer basically my anecdotal experiences as a way for the system to improve.
Angel Petit and Adam Orton work for the nonprofit organization Foster Club, which Markley interned for in 2014 and again in 2016. Based in Seaside, Oregon, the charity connects foster kids with resources from healthcare to emergency support and everything in between. Young leaders like Royce all have lived experience within the foster care system and work together to create an atmosphere of support.
He's done a great job at putting together blogs, personal stories that he can share out with people, and so they can get a perspective, like who is Royce.
All the hard work Royce Markley has been putting into Foster Fight is slowly gaining recognition. For Duck TV News, I'm Elle Myers.
For more information about Royce Markley and his work within the foster care system, you can visit his blog at fosterfight.com.
St. Vincent de Paul received a generous donation of $2 million to help fund a youth home for homeless teenage boys in the Eugene area. The donation was made by a Eugene IT software company, CVT Nuggets, that will be providing training in IT skills to help give homeless youth a better future. This is the first time CVT Nuggets has partnered with a company in the U.S., and by doing so, they have the potential to reach over 600 homeless youth in the area.
The high demand from community members has helped bring back the Eugene Comic Convention for the third year in a row. This past weekend, thousands of Oregon residents pulled out all the stops and brought out their best costume for the 2017 Eugene Comic Con. With over 10,000 people that attended, this is the second largest Comic Con in Oregon. Renee Klein, who has been annually attending since 2015, says the event is improving every year.
Eugene is just getting started. They're in their third year and it gets better each and every year, and I'm excited to be here. I live in the area and love watching it grow each year.
Because it is a locally produced and promoted event, the size of the crowd determines the success of the convention. For many, it is a tradition to dress up and attend with friends and family. Comic fans can look forward to the growth of this community-produced event in the next few years. Thanks for tuning in to this week's episode.
Be sure to follow us on Twitter and Facebook at Duck TV News. Have a great night, Eugene.